Hello and welcome to the Valley. Today I am your host, Janet Michael. I am back at Jim Barnett Park today chatting with Chris Konyar, who's director of Winchester City Parks. Parks and Rec Month in July is just around the corner.
Yes, so last year we had a proclamation. The city declared July Parks and Rec Month, and it's a nationwide thing. It's run through the National Recreation and Parks Association to just recognize your Parks and Rec department and all the cool stuff. And of course it happens in the summer. That's our peak time. So staff has been pretty excited for July. We always have a lot going on. This year seems like we have a little bit of an uptick.
Stepping it up a little.
Yeah, which is a little scary because we always have a lot going on. But we've done a nice job of putting some stuff together for the month of July to celebrate Parks and Rec, health and wellness, getting the family together, kids, adults, healthy habits, checking all those boxes.
All the things.
Yeah. And of course, it's perfect because we start July with our fireworks.
Red, white, and boom.
Yeah. So when I first got here, they had the Rockin' Eve downtown.
And I think they're still doing that.
They still do some of that. They can't do fireworks downtown.
Right.
It used to be by the Winchester Star building, but now that's a brewery.
That's right, yeah. It just seems a little dangerous with all those old building tops
I
down
thought the
there.
same thing. And it used to be in Jim Barnett Park for a long time. I love the fireworks and the baseball and the pool, picnicking.
It's perfect.
Yeah, it's all the things that you want to do to celebrate July 4th. So we do it July 3rd, so we have got just a ton of different things going on. So the turf fields, last year we started family fun zone for kids. So there's all kinds of games, inflatables, activities that you can get into on the turf, which is just awesome to see. We just transform it into just a giant playground. And it's pretty cheap. You have to buy a ticket to get on. And then of course our pool is open. Our pool has been very popular.
I could not even find a parking place out here. We're recording on a Tuesday. People are listening on a Thursday. This whole strip of week is going to be 100 plus degrees. And I usually roll up in here and half the parking lot's empty and I can park underneath the shade tree. Not today, my friend.
Well, it's hot, and today also happens to be $1 day. So like it only costs $1 to get in. It's one of our special promotions.
And you do those a couple of times throughout the summer.
Yeah, we've had a couple. So we'll be announcing those for July. So we target some dates and announce them. We try to draw people to our social media, of course. We also try to do it when it's hot. So the pool will be open. We also have a ton of food vendors, craft vendors that'll be set up out here in front, around the turf, around Henkel Harris. People can set up their lawn chairs.
Oh, nice.
There's also a Winchester Royals game. They do a game every year. So they'll have a baseball game going on. I'm pretty sure it's free admission. They have a sponsor that takes care of the gate cost. And they're pretty good right now, by the way.
They actually are, yeah.
Yeah,
they haven't been for a while, but they've gotten their groove together this season.
I would say they loaded up this year. I just saw a couple scores in the paper and I was like,
wow.
It must be pretty good. It was considerable margin, let's just put it that way. But they always have a late afternoon game that leads right into the fireworks. So you're in the stadium, you watch the game, and then the fireworks are right there.
And can you stay in your seat in the stadium to watch the fireworks?
Yeah. That's really
the best seat in the house.
We shoot them from Bodie Grimm right on the field. And it's worth mentioning that last year was a little bit problematic. We do understand that, so we want you to come back. There was a snafu, and we're not trying to sugarcoat it and say it was great. Dude lit all of our fireworks
at one time.
One night.
Yes, it was quite the red, white, and boom.
Yes, we had an awesome show for about 3 minutes because they all went up.
Yeah, the finale was all that you had.
Yes, but it's one of our signature events. And then Partlow Insurance and Erie Insurance are back as sponsors, so that's awesome.
Because fireworks are not cheap. You really need sponsors to help cover the cost. I had a conversation with someone recently who also was having a fireworks display, and he was talking about tariffs and inflation, and they're paying a substantial amount more of money for no more fireworks this year.
Absolutely. Yeah, the price keeps going up. The good news is because we had the snafu last year, we actually have a bigger show this year for the same amount.
So we're really sorry. We're going to do better next year.
So we did get to capitalize on that. So I'm expecting a really good show. So it is an opportunity to come back. But again, this is what it's about. The park, you can go anywhere in Jim Barnett Park and be able to get a perfect view of the fireworks. There's a lot of activities going on. But a lot of people will have their family reunion. They'll do dinner at the pavilion, and then they turn around and they get the fireworks show. But you can bring your kid to the playground in the front of the park, family land, shoot baskets, play pickleball, do whatever you want. And you're still going to be able to turn around and still see the fireworks. So it's really a cool event, and we've done a good job of ramping it up. Next year, as a teaser, we're going to try to do live music. We have a DJ this year, so there'll be music playing and that kind of stuff, especially around the fun zone. But next year, there's a push to actually get some bands playing. And
I like that idea.
I like live music for Independence Day.
For an event like this. Yeah, I think it adds even more to the whole atmosphere and the experience.
And it's unique in our area because you can do us on July 3rd. I think we're the only game in town that's doing Independence Eve, so to speak, I think anyway. And then
Middletown is doing theirs, Sharando is having theirs.
There's plenty of opportunity to do whatever on
You pick a decent enough, a smart enough spot, you could probably sit between Sharando and Middletown and just turn your head and see both of them.
Yeah. So we're very excited. Molly, our events coordinator, she's done a marvelous job of just a variety of different vendors, a variety of different food. And so there's a lot going on. So I just encourage, and it's also super cheap, which...
Well, it's free if you're coming to the ball game, or you just want to come hang out at the park, or you just want to watch the fireworks.
And even getting your kid in the fun zone, I think it's $10 or something like that. And that's just to cover the cost of the inflatables or whatever. The pool, it's been super affordable. So you're not going to spend a ton of money, and you get to spend the day and ring it in. And we're hoping that the fireworks display, the grand finale of the event, goes off a little smoother. Because that's how you get judged. You do all this stuff, and it comes down to your 15 minutes of fame at the end of the event. And so that kicks off. And then every week after that in July, we have some special things. So the week after, on Friday, July 11th, we're highlighting our dog park. So it's bring your dog, and you can do pet photos, and there's all kinds of treats and different things like that. I don't think a lot of people realize how much that amenity is used. I mean, it's a pretty big dog park, and there's a lot of people. And I just think it's a cool idea with the pet photo, which...
You should do some sort of parade.
That's a good idea, too.
Like a costume parade for the pups, a pup parade.
Maybe I'll mention that, too. But they're giving away little snacks, and you can get the, what do you call it, the pup ice cream?
Oh, the pup cups.
Yeah, the pup cups, And then the next week, we'll have Kona Ice on site for people at the pool. All of our summer camp kids, oh my gosh, they love it.
They're going to have a blast.
So it's cooled off, so all of our park patrons, Kona Ice, nice, it's free, so you can get whatever.
Come rolling up and get your flavor and call it,
Yeah. And then on Saturday, July 19th, we have our ginormous pool event at the outdoor pool. And they transform that. They have inflatables and volleyball and music and photo booths and the whole nine. Super well attended. I pray it doesn't rain on July 9th. But they have door prizes. They have all kinds of fun stuff going on throughout the entire day. And then it's just an opportunity. If you come to the pool all the time, it'll look a lot different. There'll be more amenities and different things like that. So the pool is all ramped up. And that gets you in for the same rates as if you're coming on
for
a
one-off day. Yeah.
So we're super excited about that. Last year, we took that to another level, and it was just like, wow. So that's going on the 19th, and then the last week, we have our Park It and Play. We want to end the month on really what Parks and Rec Month is about. It's about trying to put the phone away, taking in nature, being aware of healthy habits so you live longer, not only live longer, but live a quality of life as well. That's our mission. So we have all kinds of stuff planned, health vendors, getting your numbers checked.
Can I get my blood pressure checked and all that sort of stuff?
All that. But we have guided tours of the park, down to the Arboretum, some nature guides. So we have a focus on the green kind of thing, flowers. I don't know if you saw our pollinator meadow in the front of the park. It's pretty impressive right now. But we have that going on, and then we'll have a lot of the crafts and games and focus on sports, that kind of thing. So we have it all going on. That is our signature, the last Saturday, closing down Parks and Rec Month. And then staff is dialed in. We are all going to have shirts and match on days. So it's like not only for the community, but it also brings us together as a staff on all. Because like we got a lot going on right now. Childcare and events and sport camps, which we'll talk about. That'll lead into all of that stuff. But this is going to be cool because I think it brings in a lot of the community. I think we have a dozen health vendors that are participating, Valley Health, there's a couple other ones. And then a couple groups like the Shenandoah Audubon Society is going to help us with the guided trail walks. Our fitness instructors are doing demos. And so it's just get a taste of Parks and Rec on what you can get involved in.
And things that either A, you never even realized were here.
Exactly.
Because, and I've told you this, I don't know how many times, I grew up here. I've lived my whole life going to the park, and there are still things, I'm like, wait, what? How long has that been there?
Yeah.
It changes. And I think sometimes we forget, we come to the park for events like ball games, but we forget that there are these trails, and there are picnic tables and shelters you can go and have lunch and enjoy the full park, not just one off here or there.
And it's free, so it's just a chance to come in and what do we have going on? What are some amenities in the park? Kids can get involved in activities, seniors, it's for all ages. And it's just to celebrate, what are you passionate about? What do you do for recreation? Even if it's as simple as just walking through the Arboretum, going for a walk, or walking your dog.
Finding a good spot to do yoga.
Yeah, any of that stuff. And our fitness instructor is going to go through some of that stuff. We have everything from, today we had seated fitness, which is, it's not like a hardcore workout.
I'm all about working out while I'm sitting down.
But it's gotten very popular, and it's easy, but it's still a healthy option for you. And
it's all about the heart rate. You don't necessarily have to be standing or jumping around.
On the flip side, we have the fitness room. We got people down there cranking out weights and
that's
going hardcore. And then swimming, lap swim. So there's a lot of different options for you. I talk about pickleball and basketball and the turf fields.
Tennis.
And Jim Barnett Park, by the way, we just did our study, and the city is amenity rich. Comparable to other jurisdictions that are the same size population-wise, nationwide, we're probably on the upper end of the different things that we have. We have an indoor pool, we have an outdoor pool. We now have turf fields. We have a skateboard option now.
You have the dog park. You have the fitness facility. You have all of these things.
Yeah. Tennis courts, basketball courts, pickleball courts. We have an awesome playground.
Trails. You have the sensory trails, all sorts of stuff.
So when you start checking off the list, there's a lot of stuff. And to your point, a lot of people don't even realize that they have all these options. And so that's pretty cool too, when you sit down and you do compare your area to other areas. It's cool, whether you live in the city or Frederick County. I know we're city, but Jim Barnett Park has always been a regional park, so we're open to everybody. That's why we get so many people come in for the July 3rd, because Royals and all this other stuff. But I think that's really what we're trying to highlight during the month of July. That's why we got the proclamation, July's Parks and Rec Month, and now we just want to highlight it and also give patrons the opportunity to thank your child care worker. And then after we do this, the last week, we are going to do a social media kind of thing where we highlight each area.
Oh,
so it's
cool.
Like, here are our employees that work child care. Here are our employees that you're going to see in the sports and athletics, officials, that kind of thing.
Here's our lifeguards from the pool,
Exactly.
all of that sort of thing.
Yeah. Here's our fitness instructors. We're trying to highlight all of these different people, part-time, full-time, that make it all happen. And some of them are volunteers, some of them are paid employees, some of them are full-time, part-time.
Seasonal.
Yes, seasonal, exactly. And so we're going to close the month by saying, hey, we did a bunch of activities, but let's not forget, without these people, it ain't going to happen. Chris Konyar ain't doing this stuff by himself.
Yeah, you'd still be able to drive through the park, but that'd be pretty much all.
And it's also cool because we do have a lot of good people, I will say that. And that's true most Parks and Rec departments. Yeah, most people that volunteer or work part-time for part-time people are good people. So we're very excited. This thing kicks off here in a week, and we'll be super pumped. Obviously, our signature event kicks it off, but then periodically throughout the month, we're going to highlight
all kinds of stuff. So follow you on Facebook.
Absolutely. That's where you'll probably get most of your information. It's on the website too. But a lot of the events and stuff are set up in Facebook.
It's how you'll know when Dollar Days is happening again. You've got to follow on Facebook. So make mark to get notifications so that it says Winchester City Parks and Rec have made a new post so you can go see what it is.
I'm pretty proud of our staff for putting it all together, participating in NRPA. Of course, the city is awesome. Since I started here, it's just been a great experience, and then the fact that they did the proclamation and they recognize how important Parks and Rec is has been pretty cool. But yeah, we're about to get after it.
All right, let's take a break. When we come back, we're going to talk private swim lessons, sports camps, preschool camps, drop-ins on the turf field. You've got an event coming up at the end of August at the skate park. I just saw in the paper, as people are listening, the groundbreaking happened yesterday, we're sitting here the day before it has happened and I can't go. But you're going to get a new park under your belt in this new neighborhood district. So we'll get in the weeds on all that in the next.
We'll definitely cover that. Yeah.
We're going to come back and continue our conversation with Chris Konyar. He is Winchester City Director of Parks. July is Parks and Rec Month. We're going to come back and learn more about their programs here in just a couple of minutes. Hello, nonprofits. Have a project that's been sitting on the back burner? United Way NSV's Day of Caring returns on September 19th, and your nonprofit can be a part of it. This is the region's largest single-day volunteer event with over 900 volunteers ready to help. Whether it's painting, landscaping, organizing, or repairs, Day of Caring gives your organization hands-on support and saves thousands in maintenance costs. It's simple. Submit your project, let United Way match you with a team, focus more of your budget on what matters most, your mission. Learn more at unitedwaynsv.org/Day of Caring or reach out to dayofcaring@unitedwaynsv.org. Let us send helping hands your way. Welcome back to the Valley. Today, I am your host, Janet Michael. We are sitting today at Jim Barnett Park. Chris Konyar is here with me. He is Director of Winchester City Parks. July is Parks and Rec Month, so in the first segment, we learned all about all of the cool, fun things that are going to be happening at the park all month long, kicking off with Red, White, and Boom, where you can come watch a ball game. You can watch the fireworks. There's going to be stuff on the turf field, inflatables, and food trucks and craft vendors and all of that cool, fun stuff. But you're more than just those kinds of events. Like you're open year-round here at the park.
We're in full summer mode, so we obviously have summer camp every day. The pool, the outdoor pool is open every day, 11:30 to 6:30. We're still doing swim lessons, which I want to mention. Our newest thing is our aquatic staff has done a nice job of custom private swim lessons. And what that means is if you're a parent and you want private swim lessons, you can literally pick what time, what day you want to do your lesson, put your request in, and then 9 times out of 10, we're going to try to make it happen. So
That's awesome.
Oh yeah, and it's becoming more and more popular. We're trying to get the word out, so this will help out even more. So throughout the rest of the summer, if you want to do the private swim lesson, you can go on our website, click on the link to the private swim lesson thing. There's a little form there. And then you pretty much pick what works for you.
Put all the dates that work. Yeah, because it's so hard for parents when they have kids that are in soccer and they have kids that are on vacation and they're going away to camp and they're doing all these things. And you look at a regular swim lesson schedule. We can't do that one. We can't do that one. But they really want their kids to learn how to swim.
Or you can't do the 3 or 4 days in a row. So this is an opportunity for you. Hey, what works for you? Now it costs a little bit more than the group swim lesson because you're getting one-on-one, but they take the information, they pass it to our swim instructors. We have a whole bunch of swim instructors. They check their schedule. If any of them work with it, they say, yeah, I'll take that one. We reach out to the person, thumbs up, you're done. We've launched it and it's been ramping up more and more. And quite frankly, I'm not sure a lot of people even do that. It's a genius idea.
It really is. Now, is it just for kids or is it for adults?
No, you can do adults
too?
as well. Here we go. It always comes full circle.
It doesn't it?
I'm not
It's a private swim lesson. Come on, you could learn how to swim and surprise all of us one day. You could invite us all to the pool.
No one knows
I am sure Jason Craig would love to come and support you. He would sit next to me at the pool and say, you go, and you could just swim laps and show us that you have learned how to swim.
Yeah. I can swim. I can go off the diving board, and I can make it to the edge of the pool. Now, if I'm in the middle of the ocean,
No, you're the beach guy. You're the one that keeps the kids close to where you can still see their knees in the water.
Exactly. Yeah, we just
I've heard
back
this.
From the beach, and I don't like when they go out.
No, my husband does that, and I can swim, and I'm still not doing that.
There's no way I'm doing that.
Yeah, no.
But no, the private swim lessons is relatively new, so I don't think a lot of people know about it. And at the end of the day, we want kids to learn how to swim.
Right.
Level 1 swim lessons are free for city residents. Even the other swim lessons are highly affordable. We're all about flexibility, trying to get people comfortable in the water. And then we still have lap swim in the morning, water aerobics. The pool, you can still rent the pool, although I'll be honest with you, there's not a whole lot of days.
It's probably mostly booked up by now.
It's mostly booked up because we only do Friday, Saturday, Sunday, weekends only. So there's not a whole lot. There's still some dates left at the end of the summer, but the pool is full tilt. And then you go to the sports side. We just had a great month of June. We had Hanley's basketball camp, full house. Coach Harrell over at Hanley does a fabulous job of bringing in all the city kids, and they just mix it up for a week, learn hoops. He did his summer league. We had the Russ Potts basketball courts. They're fully renovated.
Are they done? Because we talked about that the last time, that you had some of them done, but not all of them done, but that the Wilkins family had given you a grant and you were going to get those done.
They're done. And then because they look so nice, Hanley decided, hey, instead of playing indoor, we actually want to go to the Potts courts outdoor and host summer league. So in the month of June, it was a scene. And he brought in some squads, and they were running 2 courts, just full tilt, and they're lighted. So 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock. And then we worked with Unique Hoops and Supreme Game Changers. They did some higher level instructional training. And then this week, the coach at Shenandoah is doing soccer camp. He does 2 sessions. So the July session will be July 14th. And he does a great job too. Then we have a sports camp, which is highlight sports camp for...
Is that the one that you get to do all the different sports?
Yeah, those registrations has been good. So we do a week for the 9 to 13-year-old crowd, and then we do a week for the 5 to 8-year-old.
Oh.
So it looks a little different. The 9 to 13 is obviously turn it up a little bit.
A little more competitive.
Yeah, the 5 to 8 is more introductory. But they've been super popular. Our volleyball camp is insane. In fact, if you want to get in, that's not till the first week of August. And I would emphasize to parents because we're getting close to max.
Oh, wow.
I think there's only 20 slots left, to be honest with you.
Wow.
And we still have over
It's not even,
So if you're going to get in our volleyball camp, you're going to
Now's the time to do it, or you're not going to.
We still do the hookup for city residents for a lot of these. It's still 50% off for now. So don't wait too long or you won't get the 50% off. And then, of course, we have football camp. I don't know if you know, but the word is out on this Under Armour organization. They do a flag football here on the turf. Friday nights. Whoa. Also, what's really cool is he got girls flag football into the high schools.
What?
So they're going to be offering it at the county schools and Hanley. I'm telling you, that guy runs a nice organization. So his football camp, again, that's another one that's super popular. And then Preston, the turf. So now that Blue Ridge is done, we got all the college kids. We do a lot of drop-in throughout the week. It starts at 5 and goes to 9:30. And you just buy, it's called a tap card. It's $20.
And you just keep using it until you need to reload it.
Yeah, you get 10 punches on it, so $2. That is pretty hype as well. A lot of people ask, can anybody just get on the summertime? It's wide open. And then they have a league out here on Fridays, and so the turf is busy too. So if you feel like you want to come out and run soccer,
come just watch for a bit and see. There's probably people there that are doing something that you know, and then you'll know it's worth it to get one of those tap cards because you're going to see people that you know when you come out here to drop in.
Yeah, I actually love the atmosphere. I've actually gone out and played. So even if you're old, not really athletic anymore, there's 2 fields because some people are intimidated in what they feel.
But you can still stay off to yourself. Or not mingled in with the hardcore ones.
Yeah, the hardcore, it's just like anything else. You can find a crowd that you belong in. You know what I mean? That's going to be fine. And that was one thing that I will say was nice. It's like you could just play with a friendly group, and then you got this crew over here that are playing for the World Cup.
And you're like, okay, we're not going anywhere near those guys.
Yeah. And then the other program is we have Storytime Creations, which is for preschool. Our July session starts July 11th. Dude, that thing is awesome. They do so many creative things like inside, outside, craft time, cooking. There's just all kinds of activities. And then we'll lead that up in the fall when we meet again. I'll talk to you about our PB&J club because that'll kick off in the fall for little kids. Again, we're just chock full of activities and all kinds of different stuff. Sports, arts, swimming, childcare.
Skating, you're going to do this Ramp Fest come August. We're going to talk about it in more detail when you come back next month.
Yep, we just had our first skate event on Saturday. It's called the Game of Skate, highlighting tricks and stuff. So we had 20-some skaters compete against each other, and then they crowned a champion. We had awesome prizes and all kinds of stuff. So we'll be doing another one. This one will have live bands and stuff, so it's a little bit bigger than the one we just did. It'll have food trucks, and then we're trying to raise a couple bucks to get some other stuff. Like we just added 2 ramps to the current one, which was cool to add. We're still putting the new playground down, so that funding should be coming in July 1st.
And then you're getting a new park across from where
yeah.
Ward Plaza is not going to be anymore. It's where, I guess we'll have to stop calling it, as someone who always, her whole life has called it Ward Plaza. I guess I'm going to have to start calling it, Publix Place?
Yeah, Publix, yeah. So yeah, there's a lot of residential going in there, along with commercial.
I love that they thought to put a park there.
Yeah.
Because there isn't anything on that end of town. There's really nothing on Valley Avenue. And when you've got that many residential units, single family apartments, condos, you're going to need someplace for those people to walk their dogs and their kids to go and play.
That is exactly
that sort of stuff.
The city purchased a couple acres. It's right off Middle Road, right past Dairy Queen and Sheetz. You go up and it sits on the right there. Enough for, just like you said, a walking trail. We have plans for playground. It's pretty obvious. We may put pickleball courts or a basketball court. We're going to try to put a half of an athletic field for practices or just open space.
Oh, nice.
Because people like that kind of stuff. And then we'll have some of the picnic benches and the shaded picnic tables so you can go out there and sit, that kind of thing. And then, of course, it'll have parking. That's probably one of the biggest things.
I like it.
There's a lot of area
I might have to now think about moving into one of those places when they get them built.
Yeah, we put a nice concept together. You have to vision. If you go there now, you're like, oh, this is going to be a park.
Yeah,
there's gonna
you
be
gotta
some
know.
Work. Yeah, there's gonna be some work done.
It's like you roll up into the parking lot at Ward Plaza now. You're like, how is this gonna have all these houses and all these things? You gotta understand.
But to your point, I'm just glad that they took it, and then that goes along with the strategic plan of the city. They want green space accessible within walking distance for everybody. To that point, the Zero Pack project, there's a park.
Yeah.
There's a park design for that, so we'll be working on that here soon too.
And you've got we've talked in the past about the pocket parks.
Oh yeah,
they're
so many.
With all of these, what are they calling them? Neighborhood design districts.
Yeah.
And all of them have a park of some sort incorporated, or green space of some sort incorporated into them.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. The city is laid out pretty sweet. It has the Green Circle Trail, which is 6 miles of trail. That connects to things like Abrams Creek Wetlands and the MSV trail system and Old Town. And then along there's pocket parks strategically located throughout the city. And then, of course, you have Jim Barnett Park in the middle, which I already talked about being amenity rich. If it's not connected, eventually it'll be connected.
It will be.
Yeah, it's exciting to work on. People just don't realize that there's that many. We got 15 neighborhood parks.
It's crazy. I didn't realize. When you first started telling me, I'm like, you're lying. There is no way.
I didn't even realize it when I first started. They told me how many. I was like, what? We're adding the Middle Road for sure. So that'll be 16. And then Zero Pack will probably make 17, which makes me happy. You got to preserve some of your green space.
Yes.
You can't develop everything.
No. So what keeps us from having the 110 degrees that they're having in DC this week? Because the more trees and the more green space and the less asphalt and pavement that you have, the cooler your temperatures are, no matter what the sun is trying to rain down upon you. So you've been looking through the activity guide.
Yeah,
the printed version is out. The city should have gotten it. If they're a resident of the city, they would have gotten it in the mail. But you have copies here at the park.
Yeah, and then we do the newsletter.
Yep, I get that every month.
To try to highlight what's coming up so you don't miss it. And then you can always go to our website, and then definitely follow us on Facebook. We put a lot of stuff. Everything from just simple things like cancellations, the pool's closed because there's a thunderstorm. All of those updates are on Facebook as well. But then all the events that are coming up, we try to highlight.
Thank you. I guess I'll see you again in August.
I'll have a full tilt.
No doubt. I am not surprised at all. This is why I always warn people whenever you and I do the show that there's always more on the podcast. Always there is more on the podcast. So you never know what you're missing out on if you're just listening to the radio show.
I think sometimes it's easier to do nothing, like to make your job easier. I'm just, for whatever reason, I'm just not wired.
No.
I'm like, we need to just be
more. Well, you enjoy it. That's the other part of it, is you enjoy what you're doing. It's very easy to say do nothing when you don't enjoy what you're doing.
Yeah, absolutely. And quality of life, again, the Konyar family is all about exercise and all of this stuff. Staying active and healthy.
Are you still
habits.
running?
No, I gave that up. There's a video out there of me on Memorial Day.
Yeah.
I don't even want to get into it on a radio show. But anyway, we decided to mix it up on Memorial Day. One nephew, along with me, we are very high-level trash talkers. And make a long story short, it ended up in a sprint off because he thought he was faster than me. and I pulled my hamstring. So there isn't a me
video,
going down.
There is video.
Oh, it was bad.
And I bet I know someone who can get me that video.
Oh, yeah. It was bad. Let's just put it that way. I'm almost recovered now. That happened Memorial Day, and I'm still not fully recovered.
You're not as young as you used to be,
No,
my friend.
I'm definitely not young. So he baited me into a sprint off, and I beat him, he beat me, and then it was like, we're doing one more to settle it, and I went
That
down
was the
like
end of it.
Like a sack of bricks. It did not go well. So I'm still hurting from that. So I will not be sprinting anytime soon. But yeah, that's our family, ultra competitive to the point of
not
dying.
at all surprised. Not at all am I surprised. Thank you for taking some time to give me all of the details on all of this stuff, though. I appreciate it.
Yeah, I love when you come over. We always have good conversations, and I always feel like I'm talking a mile a minute because there's so much information. But.
And thankfully, I have already trained all of my listeners to be used to someone who talks fast.
Yeah.
So it's
but
not
Jim
a
Barnett
stretch.
Park, I'm telling you, man, I love this place. This park is freaking awesome.
It is special.
Yeah,
it really is.
Yeah, I was excited to get the job, but now that I'm here, I'm coming up on 4-year anniversary.
Oh my gosh, has it been that long?
Yeah.
Wow.
And I'm like, man, this place is nice. Especially some of the stuff that we've added. It's like pretty nice. I spend a lot of time here. Just bring the dog over. Stacy and I walk over here. My daughter comes over and plays pickleball. She works out
In
at
the
fitness
fitness room.
We
It's
like
a
it.
part of your life.
It's a cool place though.
I will be back tomorrow, staying somewhat in the downtown vicinity. I haven't recorded it yet, but I am going to record it, obviously, before you hear it, because that's what all my shows are. But I'm going to meet up with Brady Cloven from Friends of Old Town, and we are going to go to Murphy Beverage Company. So tune in tomorrow, a few minutes after noon, for that conversation.